Mr. President, I'd like to begin with a quote. And the quote is, "The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. For in all the states of created beings capable of laws, where there is no law, there is no freedom." It's a quote from John Locke. And I think it's very apropos in this topic because I rise today to express my surprise to Governor Snyder. Last week, my colleagues and I introduced a resolution that would constitutionally protect the rights of our workers to collectively bargain, a right those same workers feel is under assault by the current administration. In my personal opinion, the actions that have gone on in this legislature is also a violation of the Wagner Act, which could also be perceived as a violation of the Constitution and the Supremacy Clause as well. We made it very simple for Governor Snyder. This wasn't a complex piece of legislation. We tried to put him on the spot before we had a chance to read it, before he had a chance to read it. Instead, the resolution is a mere one sentence. One sentence. And we only asked that he give us a simple yes or no answer to the question. Do you support the rights of our workforce being protected in our state's Constitution? For a week, our question was only met with either silence or a series of scripted responses from his spokesperson that did not answer the question. He could, or perhaps wouldn't, give the public a straight answer on the issue. Shocking, just absolutely surprising. So imagine my surprise last night when I heard that a news reporter had actually gotten an answer out of him on the issue. The governor's response: I don't see the point of a constitutional amendment. He doesn't see the point of protecting workers in Michigan, in this state, which is founded and built on the backs of working men and women across this country. But he doesn't see the point of protecting them in the Constitution. Just shameful. Really, Governor? You don't see the point of protecting the most fundamental of rights that our state's workforce has relied upon for generations? You don't see how your actions up until this point haven't lived up to your words, and that while you tell workers you support collective bargaining, they see you pushing legislation through this very chamber that would allow fairly negotiated contracts to be broken, wages cut, jobs eliminated, and constitutional principles and liberties violated? You may not see the point, Governor, but the thousands of workers that joined us here at the Capitol last week most certainly do see the point. The numbers are on our side as well, Governor. While your approval ratings continue to fall, support for collective bargaining rights continue to grow. Nearly 60% of Michigan residents polled recently support collective bargaining rights for our public employees, and roughly half of our population now supports the collective bargaining rights of all of our state's workforce in the Constitution. Governor Snyder, I am glad that you have finally answered our question and made it perfectly clear where you stand on collective bargaining. Now it is time for you to answer the families across Michigan telling you that your priorities are wrong. And I want to end with this quote: the Constitution does not grant rights to the people. Rather, it identifies the powers that the people have granted to the government. And the people want the powers of collective bargaining to be protected in the Constitution. Let's give the people what they want. Thank you, Mr. President, and I like my comments printed in the Journal.